So one of the things that I really struggle with as a person that works mostly from home is actually setting up a consistent schedule for myself. So when I was in college, I would take the bus from my house and I would go to my college classes, I would clock into my part-time job there, I would eat lunch, I would hang out with my friends, and then I would take the bus and go home. And there was like specific times that I had to be at specific places. And ever since I graduated and sort of lost that with the pandemic, of course, I really struggled with creating a routine and a schedule that helps me achieve all of my goals, make more art, and be productive. So last week I tried to set up something similar like this for myself to actually sort of help me create a schedule and a routine. I wanted to keep it pretty loose. I didn't want it to have an enormous amount of structure such that it sort of felt stifling or intimidating or didn't let me change plans at a moment's notice, which sometimes happens at my job. What I ended up doing was creating themes for my days in Notion. I love Notion. I've made multiple videos on this channel about my Notion setup. I use it every single day, and it single-handedly helps me run this channel, and all of the stuff that I'm doing online, I would not be able to function without my Notion. So what I did was I created just like a simple page in Notion. You don't need Notion to do this, that's just what I used. And I wrote out like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and so on. And I just made themes for my days. So on Mondays and Wednesdays, I said that I wanted to do mostly work stuff on those days. And for all of the other days, I divided it between art, YouTube, and like my podcast. My podcast, by the way, is a Patreon exclusive. So if you want to listen to it, you gotta go over to my Patreon. I'll link that down below, by the way. As you'll see, that had sort of mixed results in this video, but I was able to achieve one of my major goals, which was to make art just more than what I was doing. I was able to make art just about every single day, which was fantastic. Yeah, so we do lots of sketchbook spreads. I wanted to prioritize sketchbook work over the course of the past week just because I don't work in my sketchbook very often. And I talk about a little bit in the video how like my lack of preparatory stuff for my paintings has led to subpar work, and all that I need to do is just a little bit more prep, and I know that my paintings would be better if I just did a little bit more work ahead of time. So that was one of my big goals for this week, and I think we mostly achieved that, which is great. So anyway, let's get into the video and I will see you in the outro. You guys just saw me fill up my palette. It's a palette that I've had for a long time. It used to have gouache in it. I scrubbed all of it out because it was super dried and crusty and like wasn't working well, and like just looked really gross. And I put some fresh gouache in it. I think we're gonna work on that a little bit today. I took out my mixed media sketchbook from like senior year of college when I took like ceramic classes that I haven't worked in for a long time. We're gonna see if we can't do some spreads in that today. I basically never work in a sketchbook. I just sort of dive headfirst into my paintings, like Jesus take the wheel kind of approach, basically no prep. And that is a habit that I want to get out of because I know it's not leading to the best possible work that I can create. So I want to try and make some spreads in my sketchbook, see what happens. I have a ton of unfinished sketchbooks of like a bunch of different brands. I love trying new things, but I hate committing to new things that I try when it comes to art materials. Hi, are you awake? You wanna come here and say hello? Why don't you come here and say hello? Here he is. Here he is. You're cute. Do you want me to put you on the window so you can look out? Yeah? Okay. So anyway, my plan for today is just to work on my sketchbook a little bit and see how that goes, so. But so this was the sketchbook spread that we worked on yesterday. I'm pretty satisfied with this, actually. I really like this this one right here, especially like the landscape that I tried. That was really fun. And then I also enjoyed this one over here. I'll include some B-roll shots of those over these clips, but the flower one got off to like a really interesting start. I was worried about it for a few minutes, and then I put in that white gouache towards like the very end, and that ended up working really well. But yeah, this is pretty good. I'm excited to do the next spreads. Obviously we have just a bunch of blank pages to work with. I'm very bad at finishing sketchbooks, like truly, actually very terrible. So I'm optimistic that with enough, wow, my bangs are really just doing something, aren't they? That with enough effort, we'll be able to make some progress at finishing it. Wow, what are these doing? Okay, well, anyway, before we do that though, I have to get some work done and also start the laundry and maybe clean up my desk a little bit. Maybe not, I don't know. I'm gonna do that, and then we will start working on the sketchbook, and hopefully the sun will start peeking through the clouds a little bit more and the lighting will improve a little bit, because it is quite dreary in here at the moment because it's just very cloudy outside. Someone's finally sitting on my lap. Yeah. It is Wednesday afternoon. I did a little bit more in that sketchbook spread this morning, but I didn't get super far before I got pulled into a bunch of work stuff. And I mean, oh man, never have I been as close to quitting as I was today. I don't know, it's like I'm working with clients and I can't really talk very much about it, but the communication styles are just not, they're not good. And I think I'm infecting someone with my stress. He's picking up on it and he's not a fan. Oh, are we interested in the camera? Yeah, we're pretty interested in the camera. Oh, that's really cute. Oh. Okay, but yeah, I think I was infecting someone with my stress and Mr. Kitty, obviously. But yeah, it's just not the right environment for me. Yeah, I want to work a little bit more on that sketchbook spread. It's almost done. What is it, baby? Hang on a second. Oh. Someone has been very needy lately. She needs lots of reassurance, lots of pets. Why don't you stay here for a minute? So yeah, I want to work a little bit more on that sketchbook spread and maybe actually like get ready, like put on real clothes and not like my boyfriend's hoodie and like an old t-shirt, and actually film a video. So yeah, okay. And with that, let's, ooh, ouch. If you want to go, then go. Okay. So with that, let's keep working on that sketchbook spread. So it's a little bit later. This is how the page ended up turning out. It's quite washed out actually, but I will put some B-roll shots of it, and of course you guys will have seen it, but it's like nice and like kind of warm looking. I like the way it looks a lot. I think like obviously I could have more detail and stuff. Like I could go like way more in depth in this and just like really like I'll go all out, but the more that I was working on this, the more that I was thinking like, you know what, this would look really good as an oil painting. So maybe tomorrow and for like the rest of the week we'll try and make this an oil painting. I don't know. The problem is that I said earlier in this video that I wanted to just work more on my sketchbook and just do more sketchbook stuff, and then here I am thinking about creating an oil painting. I think any art is good art. Like I'm not gonna knock myself from like shifting gears and like doing oil painting if I want to. It's just that I'm like sort of contradicting that earlier stated goal. I do like using the water soluble like wax pastels with gouache. It's a thicker, like more impressionist kind of mark making technique that's involved with these, and like colored pencil. You can just sort of, you know, do more stuff, like cover more area more quickly. And I do like that. I definitely do want to expand my collection of these. It took me a while to find them. Like I had them buried in like some weird place in the closet or something ever since unpacking it, so I hadn't really used them very much. Sorry, my cat's being very cute in the background. He's on the chair and he's taking a nap, but it's really cute. But yeah, so we did this page today, and I don't know, from that meeting, and like it's already like 4:30-ish, I feel like so much of my day was just wasted in that meeting and doing that work. And I don't really feel motivated to do the rest of this spread, but I'm gonna browse Pinterest for a little bit and see if I can't find anything that sparks my interest anyway. And just like keep watching like various streams and like longer videos that I have in my watch later tab on YouTube, because I love watching long content, especially when painting. For me, it's like just not enough stimulus to just be painting. Like I need to have something else on in the background to like keep my mind busy, because my mind will wander and I will like stop working and going to do something else, just because I need more stuff. And so I listen to a lot of podcasts and music and like YouTube videos, and I watch TV shows. Like lately I have been rewatching all the Doctor Who series, and that's sort of my first time rewatching it from the beginning. I'd watched a little bit of 9 and 10 and 11, but like nothing really past that very much. So I started at like 9 and I watched all of that, and now I'm like at the first Martha Jones 10 season. So I just watched Rose and David Tennant's doctor say their final goodbye, and that was like heart-wrenching and horrible. And so I have a bunch of AO3 fanfic to read to hopefully tend to my wounds with that, so I can have a little bit more closure. But yeah, okay, so I am going to probably keep working in this maybe. We have started a new sketchbook spread, really just the first layer of watercolor. It's just, oh wow, that's really blown out. Let me adjust something really quick. That's better. Okay, that looks better. Just pretty much a little bit of a textured yellow wash on this page. It's gonna be like a persimmons tree with some leaves, like a branch. I think it's gonna be good. I'm gonna work on that again in a minute. I took a break for a few hours, played some games, answered some emails. I've been playing through Sunhaven, which is like a fantasy Stardew Valley thing. I actually like it a little bit better than Stardew Valley, if I'm being honest. It has like 3 different cities. Sorry, he's just scratching in his box. It has 3 different cities that you can like visit and stuff, which is really cool. One is like an elf city, one is like a demon city, then you're in the human city, and like my character's like this green elf. It's like my skin tone, but like green wings and like antlers. She's cool. She's cool. But I've been playing some of that. I'm on day 25-ish, so I'm like a few solid hours into the game. It's an early access game, so it's not finished yet, but I was working on that a little bit, having some fun, and then I got some emails from work-related stuff, and I don't know, like, every additional week that I spend at this job makes me want to quit for it more, which is really not great because I don't have another job, and that's like the only thing paying me right now. But I've been sending some feelers out to other art YouTubers, seeing if they need a video editor at all, so if you need a video editor, let me know. My videos like somewhat speak for themselves in terms of my editing ability. I'm not like the best ever, but I'm completely self-taught, learning things as I go along, and I would say that I'm pretty proud of my content, and I'm pretty confident in my ability to edit other people's content. So yeah. I think this painting turns out really great. It was definitely more of a complex one to try and work through and like get all of that nice shading and values and like arranging the leaves without making it looking too, I don't know, like manufactured, I guess. I didn't want it to look too unnatural. I wanted it to look like, you know, random placement of leaves and like a good nice like sort of background. And as we finished this painting, there's actually a bit of a time gap between this clip and the next one. So I had some personal stuff crop up toward the end of the week, and dealing with that was like a whole thing. But Drake and I actually had this idea to go to upstate New York and go on a little bit of a hiking trip, because I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but fall is my favorite time of year. Like the colors and the changing of the leaves and just the great chilly weather, the breeze, the fact that you can go out and enjoy nature much more than you could in the summer. I don't really like the heat of summer. It's just, I don't know. I'm a sweaty gal. I'm a very sweaty gal, and summer is just not my moment. Fall, very much my moment. So we actually went hiking. So yeah, we booked a rental car. We took the subway, and then we took a train, and then we got the rental car, and then we drove to Minnewaska State Park. I'll be posting lots of reference photos over on my Patreon. If you're subscribed at the $3 tier or above, you'll get access to all of those photos. But we went on that hiking trip, and it was really great. I think, so I sort of mentioned this in the beginning of the video, but the lack of structure that I get from working from home and all of the tasks that I have that sort of loom over my plate make it so that I don't actually go outside very often. Because I always have more stuff to do, you know what I mean? And it's like always like going outside's a luxury, but also like I have to take a subway to get to a good park, and it takes a while. So I don't go outside very often, and I know that I should. I know that it would benefit me to do so, but it just never ends up being a thing that I prioritize. So going on this hiking trip was really restorative for me. We had a really great time hiking around. We saw this beautiful waterfall, and even though like I tripped and slipped on wet rocks and stuff fairly often, and I got really tired and sore because I hadn't worked out in a while, this was a really great trip for me. If you have an opportunity to go hike and see some great fall colors in your area, I would really recommend that you do that. it's nice. It's nice to go outside. It's nice to enjoy nature. And I really, really miss Alaska. I really miss the mountains and just the atmosphere. I don't miss having to drive everywhere. The subway is nice. Somehow I just like want the impossible. I want like the mountains of Alaska with like the public transportation ease of use that New York City has, and I want the real estate prices of like bumfuck nowhere, North Dakota. I want the impossible. But it's just like, I don't know. My dream eventually is to be able to live in a place and own a house and like be able to like, you know, drive a car and see stuff like this really easily. Go out and see waterfalls like at the end of my workday, you know, not make it like a huge deal. I think nature is just, it's really important, and I don't go out and see it as often as I should. So that is me sort of sharing with you one of my regrets, which has been not being able, so that's me sharing one of my regrets, not going outside as often as I should. So yeah, like I said, go out, enjoy nature, have a good time, because winter's coming soon and it won't be as pleasant to go outside anymore. And yeah, I don't know, this painting was a little bit rough. Started out all right, declined from there. I definitely struggled with trying to achieve the depth and the accuracy, like the sharpness of the rocks, like that shading on the rocks that was in the reference photo. That was a bit of a struggle, but I think we got there eventually. But it takes a while. There's a lot of give and take to this one. I think it probably would be better as an oil painting, where I could like really go in and add some more detail to these rocks, have a little bit more time to work on them, because gouache is a little bit finicky. It doesn't really like a lot of layers, so I struggle with my usual painting techniques of like putting something rough down first and then refining later. That doesn't quite work as well in gouache as I would like it to. So we're nearing the end of this video actually, so I'm going to transition over to real-time outro, Kelsey, and I'll see you there. So let's do a brief overview of the sketchbook spreads that we were able to make in this video. Let me just thumb through it. All right, so this was our first spread. I had a lot of fun making this one. I talked about how the flower gave me a lot of grief. That is definitely true. And the landscape that we painted, it has a lot of life to it, and I think it would make an interesting oil painting, so that might be a possibility in the future. Just to remind y'all, that looks like this. And for the next spread, this one we did over 2 days. So this is like the first page in this spread, but it actually ends up being the one that we made the last. But it actually ended up being the one that we made last. So that's that one. It's a very nice, like colorful red ruby ficus. I think that's right. It's like a ruby rubber tree. And then the water lilies, this might be my favorite spread that we actually made in this video. I really enjoyed making this, and I'm really tempted to make it into an oil painting. And then next we have our favorite little persimmons tree. I am really not used to like painting fruit or vegetables or like that kind of thing. So it was nice to go out of my comfort zone and make something really different. And this actually ended up being just like a spread that was sort of abandoned. I meant to bring this sketchbook with me and like actually work in it when I went on that weekend trip over to upstate New York, which I mentioned in this video, but you guys didn't really see very much of. I'll be posting a vlog about that over on my Patreon as another exclusive video. If you guys are interested in seeing that and downloading all of the photos that I took on that trip as reference photos, I strongly suggest that you go over to my Patreon because all of that stuff is going to be over there. So yeah, I meant to bring this on the upstate New York trip to do like sketches and stuff while we did hiking things, but that didn't really end up happening. Like I brought it, but we didn't end up doing any art stuff because we were just really busy, and at the end of the day I was just very tired, so didn't do that. But when we came back Monday, I did this spread over here. So this was actually sketched on location, but it's terrible, so we're not gonna talk about that. But this painting, it's okay. I think I definitely could have done better, but in terms of like helping me assuage my fear and discomfort of painting rocks, I think this did a pretty good job. Yeah, definitely stuff that I would do differently. I don't think it looks very much like the actual original reference photo, but that's not a bad thing. I think branching out is definitely totally fine. So yeah, I hope you guys really liked this longer format, much more like chill hangout style kind of video. I post videos, not always like this one, but every single week. So if you're considering subscribing, consider subscribing. And I'm going to put a playlist right here with all of the vlogs in them. If you are interested in seeing more content like this, that's going to be over here. So go ahead and click that playlist, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.